To Jeff Hardy, the charismatic enigma.
Phenomenal one, AJ Styles.
Guys, it's me, Pia Toscano from American Idol.
This is Matt Hardy.
Chuck Zito, and you're watching Ring Fever.
There is no cure! You've got to be kidding me!
Hello everyone, this is Il Capo Jason Gotti, your host with the most, one of the best unsigned professional wrestlers in the game today. And what you are listening to now is the Ring Fever radio show, where the fans are the stars. Tonight I'm going to continue my story about how I broke into the professional wrestling business and what I had to go through to make it in the professional wrestling business. Tonight I just want to, vary about a couple different topics, but as of now I want to continue about my story. Last week we left you off of, what training was like and, how I felt about my trainers and my training experience. And tonight I'm just going to continue to talk about my career and some of the ups and downs. I really don't have a precise thing or an outline format, you should say, of how I'm going to continue this. I'm just going to basically, whatever's on my head, I like to speak about. That's just how I do things. My mind races constantly, so I might jump from one thing to another when talking about my career. So I hope everybody enjoyed last week's episode, and right now I'm going to continue with it. So what I want to talk about is, in wrestling, how things are not always what they seem. As far as that, what I'm talking about is people. I'm talking about the people you meet. You cannot really judge a person by your first encounter with them. When you first meet a lot of wrestlers, a lot of guys, they put on a front. They try to, claim to be something that they're not. Good and bad. There's a few reasons for that. One, the wrestling business is really, really cutthroat. You don't have a lot of friends. I'm talking, true friends. You have a lot of acquaintances as far as wrestlers, because it's so jealous and crazy and just backstabbing, because unfortunately you're not judged on your talent, which I really wish you were judged on your talent, because it drives me friggin' nuts. It really does. I hate going to shows and watching guys that don't belong in the ring, don't know what the hell they're doing, getting in good positions because they either kiss the promoter's ass. They sold a bunch of tickets, which is ridiculous. You shouldn't have to sell tickets to get on a show, and that's something that I've never done. I've never sold tickets to be on a show. I've always gotten booked. I guess you could say based on my talent, or if I knew somebody, I was given an opportunity. But I would never friggin' sell tickets to be on a show, and I think it's a disgrace. I think if a promoter asks you to sell, let's say, 15 tickets to be on a show, you should tell him to go fuck himself. And sorry for cursing, but that's what you should do, because that's first off, that's disrespectful to you, and that's disrespectful to the fans and everybody else. If you can't put on a good performance in the ring, then you don't belong there. That's my take on it. I mean, obviously when you're new, you're not that good or whatever, and you need to learn. That's fine. You put those guys, not in like any big storylines or big matches, just what we call throwaway matches. That's fine. But no, you don't put guys that are untrained in the ring or shouldn't be there, don't know how to bump. I mean, that's how people get injured. And I recently actually turned down a booking in South Philly from a guy that I knew for a long time, that I thought he was pretty cool, but when it came to wrestling, people change. Outside of wrestling, I still think he's pretty cool outside of wrestling, but people definitely act different when it comes to wrestling. I think a lot of people, it's kind of hard. I mean, don't take this literally, but I think a lot of people sell their souls for a booking or a spot, and that's something that I've never done and I never will. I always have convictions, and I always have morals, and I always stand up for what I believe in. And you know what? That's hurt me a lot because of that. But you know what? I really don't care. You know what I mean? That's how I am. You know, I try to do the right thing, and I'm the kind of guy. If I give you my word, I live up to that word. But unfortunately, in wrestling, a lot of guys aren't like that. They'll say, you know, you got my word. They'll swear to God, and then they'll do something else and whatever. That's not me. I'm very, I guess you can say, old school. Somebody that I really looked up to, another wrestler I really liked, and you know, just from saying I never met, but I would really like to meet, and I would really like to have a conversation about the business. Is Roddy Piper, and I read his book as a kid. I seen a couple video interviews with him, and you know, I'm pretty good. You know, can tell when people are full of shit and not and stuff like that. And he seems like he's real with some of the stuff that he says. And you know, he always said in his book that if I give my word to you, my word is my bond, and I live by that. You know what I mean? And not just in wrestling, but in life. If I give you my word, you know, you can guarantee whatever I say I'm going to do, I'm going to do. And that's how I am. And unfortunately, not a lot of wrestlers are like that. I wish they would be, because you know, your word is supposed to be everything. That's old school. And back in the day, before contracts and stuff like that, you know, you can only take a wrestler on his word. And I try to do that the best that I can, you know, and I don't break that for nobody. And again, you know, like there'll be times when as far as like getting booked, like you can get booked and say you have another show, right? You have another opportunity, and they want you know, maybe the show's closer to your house, and where you're getting more money or whatever. A lot of guys will double book themselves. Some will try to do both shows, and then others will try to pick the one over. You know, guys will they'll cancel that day of the show, which is, I mean, I understand things happen, but don't give a bullshit reason and go do another show. You know what I mean? What I do is if I know I can't make a show, I will always, you know, be honest with the promoter, tell them up front what the situation is, and why I can't, you know, make the show. I'll give them at least 5 days to a week notice. I'll never cancel a day of the show. You know, hell, I've you know, tried to do the best that I can when it comes to that. Now back to the guy I was telling you about, where I actually canceled off a booking. He wanted me to wrestle. You know, I'm not going to say the guy's name because I don't want to throw anyone under the bus. But it's a fellow that's really not really trained, and basically how he gets his spot on shows is he pays people to wrestle him. Like, he pays a lot of names and stuff like that to wrestle, and you know, he wanted me to wrestle him, and I never. It's always like a joke for me. I never get to wrestle, you know, where I live or close to where I live, and I was really excited about wrestling in South Philly. You know, my girlfriend, you know, her family's all there. You know, her family was going to come to the show. A couple of my friends were going to come to the show. None of them ever get to really watch me wrestle. People from some friends from work were going to come watch the show. And I just remember this guy telling me, "Oh, you're going to wrestle this guy, blah, 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 blah." And I just said, "Well, wait a minute. No. I'm not. No, you're not going to put me in a ring with a guy that doesn't know what he's doing, that's untrained, and blah, 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 blah." And then, you know, the guy's like, "Oh, well, you're going to win." And, you know, I don't care about that shit. I don't care about winning. You know what I mean? The only time I care about winning is if we're in a storyline and you're not doing something right, then I'll say something. But even then, I'll do what I'm told. You know what I'm saying? Unless you try to screw me. If you try to screw me, that's the worst thing you can do, because I'll get you back, and that's it. You be honest with me, you treat me with respect, I'll do the same. If you don't, you'll get what you deserve, and that's it. And I don't feel bad either, because the way I look at it is, you're trying to scam me, you're trying to make me look bad, you're trying to be an ass, then you're gonna get what you deserve. So I declined. I said, you know, thank you. I gave him a week's notice, and after that, he didn't like it, and he had some not so nice things to say about me, and that's a shame, because I actually thought that he wasn't like that, and I was wrong, and it is what it is, you know what I mean? But that just goes to show you that I do have convictions, and that, you know, most wrestlers would have, oh yeah, they wouldn't have cared, but you know, I do care, because I care about the things that I care about the most. All right, is number one is trying to have the best match that I can have. it's not always about, it's not about winning and losing. That doesn't matter. Like I said, unless like you're in a storyline and they're doing something that is wrong and the fans won't like. You know, I'll lose to anybody. I don't give a shit. I'll put a girl over if I have to. It doesn't mean nothing to me. You know, and I have. I've actually let a girl beat me before. I have no ego whatsoever when it comes to that. None. A lot of guys do though, and you know it's ridiculous. But there's a lot of politics and there's a lot of you know, personal feelings where that guys let get in their way and jealousy and stuff like that. And it sucks because all you're doing when you let the politics and BS get involved is you're ruining it for the fans. You know what I mean? To me, you know, the fans decide who they like. The fans decide who they hate, and that's the way that we should do it. I'll wrestle anybody, personal differences aside, as long as that they're professional in the ring and they don't try to hurt me on purpose or none of that stuff, and they do the right thing. There's been you know, a lot of the guys I wrestle I don't particularly care for. Not all of them. There are some that I actually really do like, but a lot of them I don't. And you know, I'm a professional in the ring. You know, I take care of them and I do the best that I can. You know, something that I always do is, you know, I'm a heavier guy. A lot of the smaller guys like to do flips and dive on the outside. I always make sure that I'm there to catch them. You know, I've seen guys, you know, just let guys drop or move out of the way. You know, when you wrestle me and you want to dive, you want to flip, you're safe. I'll catch you. I've never hurt anybody in the ring. I've had instances where one instance where a guy did get hurt, but it was his own fault, and he holds a grudge to this day, and it's a shame too because it was your fault, and that's it. I can't literally throw someone over my head like that. It's not possible. You did it yourself. And here's the thing too, that I've been injured. Okay, I've had a lot of injuries, and I never once got upset at the person that I wrestled that I got injured, whether it was their fault or not. Accidents happen. I don't hold on to stuff like that. I don't hold on to grudges. I'll give you an example. One of the worst injuries that I had wrestling, I was actually training at the Team Taz dojo. I trained with Taz, and Taz was one of my idols. To be perfectly honest with you, he was the reason I wanted to be a wrestler. And you know, I got to train with him, which was cool. I did learn a lot of stuff. And unfortunately, I got injured. You know what I mean? And it was nobody's fault. You know, the guy I wrestled, I don't blame him. I'm not mad at him. You know what I mean? Things happen. It's a physical business. Well, anyway, long story short, I tore my rotator cuff, and I tore it really bad. I remember when when I fell. You know, we're doing spot and things went wrong, and I put my arm out because I was screwed. If I didn't, I would have landed right on my neck. You know, I had to put my arm. And I put my arm out, and I heard a pop in my shoulder, my right shoulder. So, excruciating pain. Everybody thought that I broke my neck from the angle that they were doing. They were telling me not to move, and I was just, you know, I was more mad at the fact that I wouldn't have been able to train that day. I wanted to train, you know what I mean? I wanted to train, and they told me to sit out. And no, they, you know, they took care of me and stuff like that as far as my well-being. You know, so they had me sit out, and we had like an on staff guy there, medical wise. But anyway, so I just remember I tore my rotator cuff, and I don't really have good insurance. I have like minimal coverage for my job, so they won't allow an MRI. So I remember going to the doctors because Dad would have to pay out of pocket MRI, and I don't have $3,000 to blow. That's a lot of money to me. And the doctor's like, "Hey, your rotator cuff is definitely torn." You know, I couldn't move it past like, you know, up near my chin. I would anytime I move, excruciating pain. Couldn't sleep right when I move, it be in pain. And I remember, you know, him saying, "Okay, it's definitely torn." He's like, "We need to get an MRI." And I was like, "Well, listen, I can't get an MRI." He's like, "All right, well, there's two ways. It can either be completely torn, which you need surgery, or it can be partially torn. Any compared it to rubber bands, and how like if a rubber band, you know, it stretches. That's your rotator cuff, and the elasticity of it. If it frays, like a rubber band will fray, that means it's partially torn." So I really don't know what it was, to be honest with you. I mean, I still have pain to this day, not as bad. It took about a good 11 months to a year, to be honest with you, to heal. And I just remember the driving home all the way to Philly, you know, and being in excruciating pain. And I wasn't pissed that I got hurt, you know what I mean? I was just pissed that I couldn't train that day. You know, I have a lot of heart, man. You know what I mean? And it's just, yeah. If I didn't, I wouldn't be able to get through a lot of the injuries that I have. And I think I said I do ramble. I apologize. I jump from things to things, but the thing with me is, you know, people don't realize how injured I am sometimes because I'm able to take a lot more abuse than other people, you know, and I don't really, you know, let people know how hurt I am. I don't know. I don't know. I guess it's like the fighter spirit in me. I don't know. Whatever. Um, so, you know, I just remember like the next week, you know, going back there and trying to work out a little bit, you know, weights. And, man, my arm was so weak, I couldn't really lift nothing. And I probably did more damage. But I was just like so hungry. I just really wanted to, make this guy proud of me. You know what I mean? Cause it was it was my idol. And, I just, you know, it's the way it is. You know what I mean? I'm honest with it. I'm not going to lie. That was, you know, somebody that I wanted to be, you know, be like as a wrestler. And, especially, earlier on, you know, I tried to be the most. Now, you know, I come into my own and I realize who I am, like what my character is and stuff, and which he helped a lot with, which I'm actually thankful. Um, but yeah, it's the injuries are crazy, and you know, I trained, and I remember the next week working out with the guys in the ring, doing some matches, and I'm physical in the ring. You know what I mean? I'm very snug. You know, if I hit you, you feel it. That's the way I wrestle. I was taught to you know, apologize and later on and after the match. But you know, I always tell guys, I said, listen, you hit me as hard as you want. It has nothing to do with trying to be a badass or nothing like that. You know what I mean? I know I can handle myself in real fights. I've been in a lot of real fights in my life, and I've done pretty well in them. You know what I mean? I've never been beat up, which is it's weird to say. I've never actually been beat up by anybody besides my dad and my mom. You know what I mean? They're the only people that beat me up. You know, and nobody's ever even come close to it. And it's not to say that I can't get beat up because I definitely can get beat up. Anybody can, but I don't know what that feeling is like. You know what I mean? I know what it's like to be hurt and get hit really hard, but I don't know. I guess that's like a gift to be able to take punches like I can. And what the hell was I saying? Again, sorry. My mind jumps, especially when we talk about wrestling. But yeah, it's just, you know, working through wrestling with that injury really hurt a lot, and I wasn't able to train. I tried to go to the gym myself, and I wasn't able to. And you know, it just sucked. And I continued to take shows and stuff like that. And I wrestled for about a year with that really bad injury. And a lot of people don't realize that, you know, because I don't tell them. Other injuries that I've had, I broke my ankle once in a match. I didn't go to the doctors because at that time I was actually out of a job and I had no insurance, so I couldn't even go to a regular doctor. And I remember there's something wrong. There's definitely something wrong with me. I definitely got the old school wrestler mentality. I can tell you that much. I just remember it hurt so bad, and I'm driving home. It swelled out and it bruised on each side, and I bought one of them like them wrap things for your ankle, like an ankle holder thing at Walmart. And I put like Neosporin on it, or not Neosporin, excuse me, Bengay on it, Icy Hot, same thing, and just iced it and stuff. And I couldn't even really walk on it. And I didn't have a booking for about a month. I didn't take any bookings. And about a month and a half later, I wrestled in a really physical match against this guy Vargas. This guy Vargas, I'm gonna tell you something. I love wrestling this freaking guy. Like he's my favorite person to wrestle of all time, just because he's tough. You know what I mean? He don't complain if you hit him hard. When we wrestle like at CCW, because that's really the only place that he wrestles at. It's a shame because he should branch out. He's got a really good look, and on top of that, he's a really nice person. And he's one of the few people in wrestling that I consider a friend and that I like a lot. So you know, if you're listening, Vargas, can't wait to wrestle you again, buddy. We're gonna beat each other up some more and act crazy, beat the hell out of each other because that's what we do. But I wrestled him in a fans bring the weapons match, and I was the main event. And you know, it was so important to me, especially being in a main. Any time that I wrestle, I don't half-ass anything. I give 100%, whether I'm tired or hurt or injured. I want those fans, whether they paid $10, $5, $50. I want them to get their money's worth. And it's not a shtick. It's not a bullshit thing. That's really how I feel. I was a huge wrestling fan growing up. And I want them to be entertained because I am you guys. You understand what I'm saying? The only difference is I wrestle now. You know what I mean? But it doesn't make me better than anybody. It doesn't give me a right to ignore fans. None of that. And that's why I take, my time to if anyone emails me or Facebook, or I'm on my Facebook a lot, or Twitter, I respond. You know what I mean? Because, I care about you guys. You know what I mean? Even the ones that I don't know. If you take the time to be one of my fans, I mean, that's really important to me. It really is. And I love you guys and girls. Thank you for supporting me. It means a lot to me because I was the guy that was told I'll never be shit in this business. And that I was too short, I was too fat, and I was too this. Well, the only thing I'm too much of is talented. And that's the truth. That's the only thing I'm too much of is talented. And that scares a lot of people. We'll keep being scared because El Capo has got his head on straight, and he's only just begun to scratch the surface on what I can do in this business. And sorry, but it's just how I really feel inside. But yeah, back to that match. That match was really hard. A Fans Bring Your Weapons match. It was the main event, and when you wrestle in the main event, man, it's go time. You need to amp it up 20,000%. And I remember we beat the living hell out of each other. My ankle was so injured. It was it was ridiculous. Putting weight on it, I shouldn't have been wrestling. It was still broke. It never really healed because I never went to the doctors. And once in a while it'll pop a little and it hurts, but I just don't let people know. That's just how I am. You know what I mean? It's, to me, a wrestler is supposed to be tough. We're supposed to get injured, and we're warriors, man. We're fucking gladiators. Like, that's why I don't understand why a lot of these guys complain about shit. Like, are you kidding? Like, we're wrestlers. Like, stop being punks. As long as you don't break. My whole thing is, don't break my teeth, don't break my nose. Hit me as hard as you want. I don't care. All right, I mean it's wrestling. It's physical. It makes me wonder if a lot of these guys have ever been in a fight in their life. You know what I mean? Like, it's I don't know, whatever. It pisses me off, as you can tell. So we beat the living hell out of each other, and I remember after that match, I had trouble, really putting weight on my ankle, but I was happy because I was able to do my best. A professional, especially a professional wrestler, to me is somebody that performs at a higher standard than everybody expects. And I think I do that, you know what I mean? And I'm proud of that. That's really important to me whenever Jason Gotti's the main event. I always give 100%, but I give 160% when I'm the main event. I don't care how many people are there. I want to entertain, and a lot of times, I shouldn't take certain risks that I take, but it's just I can't go out there and not give 100%. I can't do it. I can't. Like, I'll be, if I'm not feeling well or whatever, and me and my girlfriend are really close. My girlfriend Renee, it's probably one of my best friends. Besides my buddy John, he's my best friend. My best friend since 6th grade. But yeah, we always, we talk about wrestling a lot. She's somebody that I trust, that she's been there with me since I came back to wrestling for my very first match. And I want her to be there when I get to the WWE. Not notice how I didn't say if I get to the WWE. There is no if. I'm going to the WWE. It's going to happen. Whether it happens tomorrow or a year from now, it's going to happen. I think it's up to me. If I can get my head on straight, and as far as getting my head on straight, as far as like getting my body back in shape and stuff like that, I can do it. You know what I mean? Because I've had guys that have made a living out of this business, and they told me how good I am, and I'm really flattered. You know what I mean? When someone like Tommy Dreamer comes up to you after a match, and just starts telling you like, oh, you can move great and you did this, and then I said, well, what can I improve on? And the guy says nothing in the ring, and don't take it literally. There's always something you can improve on. He was like, I was speaking of the match that I had. This was recently in an FWE show. It says a lot. And then I sit there and I think to myself, what the hell is wrong with me? Why can't I get my stuff together? And I think a lot of it has to do with depression because I suffer from depression. But now I'm glad that I have the right people in my life that support me, that are there for me. There are no agendas, and now I don't I'm focused. I don't worry about other stuff, and I think a lot of my childhood really drug me down because I never really resolved it. And when you said this to me anyway, this is something that I think um, a lot of wrestlers deal with is depression. When you're there by yourself and you're in a hotel room or you're with your girlfriend or whoever, when the lights are gone and you're out of that ring and the persona's over, a lot of us are messed up, especially the good ones. I mean, I am, and I know a lot of other guys are. We have problems, and I don't hide from it. I'm open about it, and that depression, man, that'll kill you. And I think now that I'm able to get my head straight, I think that it's a good thing. And mentally, it's you really got to be mentally strong up here. And I've always been strong physically, and I've always been strong mentally as far as in the business towards people. But when I'm by myself, I let those demons take over. And I'm glad. I really am. I'm really glad that I'm able to see that now and change that. You know what I mean? And I just my whole thing with this wrestling is I want to become a success. I don't have to be a millionaire. I don't have to be the most famous wrestler in the world. I want to be famous enough to start a charity for abused kids. That is my goal. I want to start a charity for abused kids because I was an abused kid. I know how people that were abused think. I know how you feel like the world's against you and that nobody cares. I understand, and a lot of you is not to BS you in your situations. The people don't care about you, but I don't want to see a kid either go to jail because they committed a crime. You know what I mean? Or suicide or anything. You know what I mean? The world's a dark, cold place a lot of times, and I've been in those dark, cold places and in those moments, and I can relate to others. And to me, I think God put me in those situations and made me survive because I really shouldn't be here right now talking to you guys. I've been through a lot of shit, and I'm here for a reason. And I've had a lot of my friends die or they're in jail. And I unfortunately I was friends with the wrong kind of people. But I learned from those things, and now I just want to use this wrestling because I do have a God given ability. I want to help others, and I want to start a charity for abused kids, and I want to do it right. I don't want to do it to put myself over. I want to do it to help. You know what I mean? I don't need a pat on the back to do the right thing. So, this is basically why I'm doing this wrestling thing because there was a time when I honestly wanted to quit and just go fight for real. I wanted to do MMA. But I think I'm still here for a reason, and I'm going to continue to continue on. And yeah, we pretty much covered the whole show, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I just want to say to all the fans, thank you so much for supporting Jason Gotti. And more importantly, thank you for being there and loving professional wrestling and buying a ticket to see myself and the rest of the guys and girls perform. Because whenever I perform, I truly am performing for you guys. So thank you.